Hello and welcome to the Spring and Hibernate based application development tutorial. In this tutorial, this will actually be a series of tutorials which will cover building a simple web application using Spring and Hibernate. The first of these tutorials will be we are going to go through the lesson plan. The first session will be about the application architecture, which will lay out a high-level view of different layers that are part of this application and the flow of the data and so on and so forth. The further tutorials will go about step by step on building this application. The part 2 will cover creating the model or the domain objects that represent your business uh, data, or the data that's part of the application, and then adding mapping between the domain objects to database, underlying database, using Java Persistence API annotations. The lesson 3 we will go about setting up Hibernate using Spring context-based configuration, Spring Bean-based configuration. In the lesson 4 we will look into how we can use the entity manager, which is part of the JPA, uh, along with the Hibernate implementation of that, to save and retrieve uh, data into database tables using Hibernate. Part 5 will cover the service layer, which is nothing but a client to the Hibernate persistence layer. The service layer will allow the application to make calls to save, retrieve data, and also add any kind of processing or business logic that is part of the application will be embedded inside the service layer. Once the service layer has been built, we will be using the Spring MVC as a client to the service layer to present the data to the user and allow the user to perform some actions on the data and process that requests from the user and produce the results of it as the view object. So basically it will cover the model, view, controller part of the application. Then we'll go on to see how we can use Spring validation annotations and Spring tag library to show the error messages onto the user screen. Then we'll add the Spring security to the application using the Spring Security XML along with the filter that is part of the Spring Security, which will allow us to set up URL based security and also restrict users based on their role and so on and so forth. We'll be using message properties file to display custom messages to the user. We'll also look into using cascading style sheets to improve the look and feel of our web application, and then we will finally explore further design or extension options on other frameworks or utilities that can be plugged into this application. Thank you for watching this introduction, and we will get started with the application architecture diagram in our next session. Thank you.